We have a major Brandon Aiyuk trade update to touch on today's San Francisco 49ers report by Chat Sports. But first, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want Niners updates every single day coming your way right here on the Niners report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Final day in Maine today for my training camp and pre-NFL season vacation. Travel day tomorrow. Back in the studio on Wednesday. More training camp coverage the rest of the week. And then preseason game number 1 as the San Francisco 49ers take on the Tennessee Titans. We'll be doing a watch party for that game on Saturday. You don't want to miss that or any of our coverage, so lock us in. This is the largest independently run Niners channel right here on YouTube. So with the Brandon Aiyuk situation, so much to get to here on this Monday, August 5th of 2024, and consider this. The latest Aiyuk trade report comes from a very legitimate and trusted source, Matt Maiocco of NBC Sports Bay Area, who has ties to the Niners organization, has a relationship with John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan, and does not say things just to say things. He is not a hot take machine. He is more so of a traditional old school journalist. And he tweeted this out last night in quote tweeting his story in NBC Sports Bay Area. Quote, "I've stated for a while that I didn't see any scenario in which the 49ers would trade Brandon Aiyuk. Now, I believe it's a legitimate option. In a lot of ways, the ball is in Aiyuk's court." Now, that was as part of Maiocco's report for NBC Sports Bay Area, as I noted, and there's plenty to touch on here within that story. He started off by saying this: "Why would the 49ers be willing to move wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk if, like most NFL trades, they receive only draft picks in return? The answer is they would probably not. After all, San Francisco is built to win now, and there is no reason for them to be interested in anything that weakens the team for the coming season. But what if they could acquire a proven wide receiver in addition to future draft picks? Now, that starts to make sense for the 49ers as well as Brandon Aiyuk." So now we're talking about Aiyuk getting traded for draft compensation in addition to another proven player. Who is that proven player? A really good wide receiver for the Cleveland Browns, who we're about to talk about. More from Maiocco here. The issue with the trade now, in my opinion, before we get to more from Maiocco, by the way, is that draft compensation doesn't really help you right now if you're San Francisco. And you kind of get 75 cents on the dollar. But if you get that legitimate wide receiver in return for cheaper as compared to what Aiyuk is going to get because the acquiring team is going to pay him, does that sway the opinion of the Niners? And do they end up making a move? So here's what Maiocco said. "The Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots are the most likely trade partners, according to a report Saturday from Cam Marino, who's an NFL insider for NFL Draft Buzz. The Browns," this is where it gets interesting, "could afford to pay Aiyuk if wide receiver Amari Cooper were dealt to San Francisco in a trade." That was coming from longtime beat reporter Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com. Amari Cooper, ladies and gentlemen, is a really good player. 30 years old, coming off a season in which he caught 72 passes for 1,250 yards and 5 touchdowns, and he's been doing it for a long time. He has 7 1,000-yard seasons in his 9-year NFL career. So the Browns, in turn, here would be getting Aiyuk at 26, who's a younger player who's improved every year that he's been in the NFL. And last year, he caught 75 passes for 1,300-plus yards and 7 touchdowns. He was the second-team All-Pro. This is also interesting for San Francisco because Aiyuk, if he plays under the 5th-year option, is guaranteed to make $14.1 million. If he gets a contract extension, of course, it's going to be a lot more expensive. Amari Cooper, though, has a cap hit in 2024 of $8.7 million, and he's on an expiring deal. More from Maiocco. General Manager John Lynch said upon the opening of training camp that he expected Aiyuk to be with the Niners this year, but things change. And what's changed is Aiyuk and San Francisco have taken longer than expected to finalize a deal after the sides nearly had an agreement months ago. Almost had an agreement months ago. We wouldn't be forced with having to beat this Aiyuk story into the ground if they just got that deal done. But then the wide receiver market, as we know, blew up, and so did the contract talks, according to Maiocco. He also said because Cooper's in the final year of his contract, the Browns would also likely send multiple draft picks to the Niners, including the possibility of a second-round selection in the 2025 NFL Draft. So let's talk about that for a moment. You get Amari Cooper, who's older, more tread on the tires, but 7 1,000-yard seasons in 9 years, and you replace Aiyuk's production with him. He's also less expensive and more affordable, and you might get a second-round pick. This is the type of deal that the Niners may not have received up to this point, but if they receive it and Aiyuk wants $30+ million, the Niners aren't willing to give him that, and the Browns are. Does that force San Francisco into making a trade because it could make them better and save them some coin? Back to Maiocco here. If the teams are deep into talks, Aiyuk's representation would have already received permission from the 49ers to speak with any agreed-upon potential trade partners. As we know, Aiyuk remains under contract with San Francisco, scheduled to make $14.1 million on that 5th year. A new contract would likely pay Aiyuk somewhere in the neighborhood of $30 million per year. And let's touch on that for a moment. The Niners have a run-heavy offense. It's not going to change with Kyle Shanahan. Since the Christian McCaffrey trade, and the Niners, by the way, gave Christian McCaffrey a contract extension through 2027, the 49ers throw the ball at the 32nd rate in the NFL. It's last. Do they want to pay a wide receiver $30 million per year when they run the football a lot? When they just drafted Ricky Pearsall as well as Jacob Cowing? They might want to pay him 26, a little bit more than Debo, but 30 is a little bit too much for a run-centric offense. So that's the Cleveland Browns aspect of this. How do the New England Patriots enter the fold? And I've been talking about the Patriots as a trade destination for a long time. Here's what Maiocco said. The Patriots are another logical trade partner for the 49ers. They could offer former Niners wide receiver Kendrick Bourne as part of a trade that includes an enticing package of 2025 draft picks. The Patriots might be bad this year. What if they offered up their number 1 for Brandon Aiyuk? It could be a top 10 pick. What if they offered up their second-round pick for Brandon Aiyuk and Kendrick Bourne? You get a receiver who knows the system and the team. Even if you get that second-round pick, it's going to be a top 10 second-round pick. And that's pretty good compensation as well. The Patriots also have the most cap space in the entire NFL. Lastly, from Maiocco, he said Aiyuk, been a regular presence in Santa Clara, attends meetings, often watches practices, his every move around Lynch and Coach Kyle Shanahan around the practice field, observed and scrutinized. He's expressed an interest in returning to the Niners, so that remains a possibility too. All he has to do is accept San Francisco's latest offer, believed to be at least a couple $1 million shy of $30 million per year. At this point, Aiyuk and the Niners have some options, and it appears more likely than ever the 49ers are willing to make an Aiyuk trade. It might be up to Aiyuk to determine the next move. And I round out with that. What does that mean exactly? It could be up to Aiyuk to make a move. Niners might have an offer on the table for $26 to $28 million. My prediction all along, he signs with San Francisco at $28 million average annual value, and he makes more than Deebo Samuel's $59+ million in guaranteed money. The Niners could say, we'll send you to Cleveland, uncertain quarterback situation, where you can make money. We'll send you to New England, uncertain quarterback situation, where you can make some money. And while you might go to Cleveland, you might go to New England and make a little bit more, we'll offer you a little bit less money, but we're going to continue to win. We have a great quarterback situation with Brock Purdy, a great offensive-minded head coach in Kyle Shanahan. You'll win, you'll be happy, you'll still make a lot of money, and your production will not fall off. You'll continue to be our number 1 wide receiver, the focal point of our passing game, and let's just continue this partnership. And I hope that's what it comes down to. The latter portion of that. Not Aiyuk wanting to go somewhere else just to make more money on a new deal, because I want to see him flourish and thrive because I think he's a special player. I don't think that he can do that with those bad quarterback situations that are suspect. Drake May, rookie, New England. Deshaun Watson, disaster with Cleveland. Brock Purdy, Aiyuk's ascension, him becoming an all-pro, big reason for that, Brock Purdy and head coach Kyle Shanahan. I think that quality of life is really important. I'd be willing to take less to be happy, to win, still make a lot of coin, produce a lot. But then I know my mental headspace is in a really good spot every day I come to work because I know we're still a playoff contender, a Super Bowl contender. I can be happy, make a lot of bread, and I can still put up a lot of production and have familiarity with one of the most well-run organizations in all of football. So that is the bombshell report from Matt Maiocco, NBC Sports Bay Area. For him to say it's more likely than ever that Aiyuk could get dealt, that has some legs. It's real. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. This is the 49ers Report. I'm Chase Sr. If anything big happens, I'll be back here in front of this camera. Again, travel day tomorrow, back in the studio on Wednesday. Niners coverage every single day right here on the 49ers Report.